Hi, I'm Dr. Doug Stranko. I'm a chiropractor here in Glastonbury, Connecticut. And I'd like to share with you a quick message about things we see in our office constantly and consistently, especially this time of year. It all has to do with stress. So in this quick video, what I'd like to do for you is explain what it is and what you can do about it. Because if you think about going the next couple months and then the next couple years, do you think you're going to have more or less stress in your life? Probably a little bit more. So how are we going to face it? That's the challenge. And it completely you can face it and you can get ahead of it and you can let it not manifest in your life. So we're going to explain quickly today how that happens and how you can do that. Before we talk about stress though, we need to really define what health is. Health is really about balance. And in physiology, we refer to this balance in life as homeostasis. What that really means is the way you eat, the way you move, and the way you think are working for you, right? All your cells, all 75 to 100 trillion cells in your body are happy when your body's in a state of balance. So the goal in life is to try to go through this way, in a homeostatic balance. What can happen, and what really rocks the boat, I'm sure you can guess at this point, is stress. Stress causes a shift in that balance point. So we're no longer in homeostasis. Now the scale starts to tip just a little bit. And an acute stress is good, right? An acute stress can help us get us out of a dangerous situation, can help us pass a test, can help us ask a girl or a guy out that we maybe would be afraid to. The problem is when an acute stress becomes a chronic stress. And chronic stress is what we're dealing with in healthcare, particularly in the United States now, and it's becoming more and more prevalent and more epidemic. So what I'd like to do is show you what happens with chronic stress. So before, when we talked about that homeostatic mechanism, right? When you go through a stress, your body gets out of whack a little bit, you respond to whatever stress, and then we come right back down to a balance point, right? That's the homeostasis. That's how we survive. Once the stress is removed, we're right back on with life. Life is great again. The problem is when we're constantly exposed to stress. They actually have a phrase for this to describe your state of physiology, and it's no longer called homeostasis, it's now called allostasis. And what that means and why this is significant is our bodies no longer function optimally. Now they're functioning in a less than optimal state because of this chronic exposure to stress. And when we don't eat well, when we don't think well, and we don't move well, over time, your body starts to adapt and it wants to survive now. And the way it'll survive in lieu of all these chronic stressors is by changing your physiology. And what we unfortunately do is we label the change as something bad. But when you're exposed to a chronic stress, it's not always a bad thing because your body just needs a break really. Think about a plant. If you put a plant that's supposed to get plenty of sunlight, oxygen, fresh air, good soil, water, those are the elements required for a healthy, happy plant. If you take any one of those elements away, or all of them, what happens to the plant, right? It starts to wilt and eventually it'll die, right? It's the same thing with people. There's really no change. And what happens under stress happens in the mind and it happens in the body. It's the same response to your body. And we don't have enough time to go into all the physiology today, but know that if you're constantly exposed to a stress, your body over time now adapts to the stress. And the way this shows up, blood pressure goes up, cholesterol goes up. Again, these are just survival mechanisms. This can produce headaches, it can produce tension in the jaw, TMJ problems, it can produce a stomach and bladder problems. Again, as a result of this constant exposure to stress, your immune system takes a hit when you're constantly under the gun, under the weather, not working at your best potential because of all the way that life is coming at you. So what we've done is we've identified the causes of stress in that eat, the move, and the think categories. So the two biggest stressors in life, it's really toxicity. Your body's getting too much of the bad stuff in the realm of the way we eat, the way we move, and they think. It's also become deficient, meaning it's not getting enough of the good stuff. So think about these two things. Am I toxic? And am I deficient? And if you're both of those, then really stress is really going to get you with a 1-2 punch. Think about the way you eat. If your diet is really poor, if you're eating a lot of sugary foods or a lot of fat foods, and I'm not a huge, I don't think fat is the enemy, but too much fat is the enemy. I also think people are really dehydrated these days. If you don't get enough water in your system, it's a stress on your body. And if you're chronically dehydrated, it has repercussions. Too many medications, where you take one med to lower the blood pressure, but now the blood pressure is too low, and now we're going to take another one to bring it back up, right? And they have side effects. Sometimes too many meds are not the answer because the meds are a quick fix. They're not addressing the cause, and the cause is really a chronic exposure to stress. The way we move. How many people sit at a desk all day long? You're right. The effects of sitting are epidemic. They call sitting the new smoking because we're not designed to be in one position for 40 hours a week. Injuries, accumulation of injuries. Your body will change and morph if you get ever twisted an ankle or sprained a knee. Right, your body, you shift your gait a little bit over time if it doesn't heal properly. Again, this is another stress. It's a mechanical stress that can produce a physiological stress to your body. And posture. Posture is a big one because how many people you know sit like this or stand like this? Right. This again is a huge stress to the way we work. And the last one is a think component. So if we're depressive, if we're anxious, if we're lonely, if we feel like we don't deserve something, if we go have the unworthiness components, all these things factor into our physiology, our chemistry, and the way we work. Okay? So enough of the bad stuff. Here's the good stuff. If we can identify these two things as stressors, and we can replace them with the opposite, now we have a chance. Right? If we can replace the toxicities with the purities in the way we eat, the way we move, and the way we think, if we can replace the deficiencies now with sufficiency, so we can get less of the bad stuff and more of the good stuff. These are things we can do to bring that scale back to balance, back to what our cells need, back to what our bodies crave to be happy and healthy and vibrant and productive. The beauty of this video series that we're putting together for the Chamber of Commerce is there's lots of really, really good resources out here for you to understand, to apply these to your life, right? This is all simple. It's not easy. It takes time to be healthy. It takes time for the effects of stress to cause your health to take a hit and for your health to go south. It can also take time for your body to correct all these things, and it can, if you do it the right way, with the right people, the right support, and the right intention, over time, your body can really start to correct a lot of these things that we see in my office that I know are available to you as well. So going into the holiday season here, I hope you take some of this into consideration when you're making decisions about the way you eat, the way you move, and the way you think. Because really, your health over the holidays is dependent on you. It's not the circumstances, it's really your decisions. And if you can choose purity and sufficiency, you really come out ahead on all this. Thanks for watching.